Daggy Beaver with you for Show Us Your Tips. Not much going on in the racing world this weekend, is there, Beaver?
I don't know. Is any races on?
There's a couple I've heard.
Yes.
Something in Sydney.
Something in Sydney.
And then the Caulfield Cup's on down south, which is good.
Yes.
So looking forward to that. No, big day of racing. We've got 10 races from Randwick, headlined by the Everest, as well as the Caulfield Cup down south. Two very deep cards. Spent a bit of time across both programs. Looking forward to discussing all of that. Anything got you excited?
Oh, just the racing in general has got me excited, Daggy. Good races, good meet across both venues, plenty of value to be found. Tricky fields, deep fields, lots of runners in each race. Probably disappointing, the track conditions. Randwick's are heavy at the moment, hopefully.
I'm thinking it almost gets to soft. I might be optimistic.
Hopefully it gets to soft, but Caulfield looks like it's going to be heavy. And
they're in trouble down there.
They're in a little bit of trouble down there, so that's a bit of a shame. But we've seen it before, Caulfield Cup days.
We have, actually, back in the Desperado days and those sort of...
Probably the disappointing thing is that these race days do clash, and as we're just discussing before we came on air, some of the jockeys that aren't down in such a great meeting down in Melbourne, you know, McDonald and Bowman, Rawilla, Pike, Avdallah, Williams, Lane are all riding in Sydney, and so the quality of the jockeys when you're getting into the 20 horse fields into the cups is not as deep as what I would like to see. So it's a bit of a shame, to be honest.
Check out, we'll get our plugs in early. Check out progretracing.com.au. Of course, we have regular tips up there throughout the week, as well as 2 shows, weekend and midweek previews. And we're back on Spotify. Just a bit of housekeeping. I know a few people have contacted us about, I was just swapping feeds over. It took a bit longer than I hoped, but we're back up there full time. So if you want to listen while out and about, I know Mick and a few others listen in the car or walking the dog. So you can find us there as well now, again. And, of course, subscribe on YouTube and stick around, and hopefully we'll find a few winners. We will head to Randwick first. Everest Day, as we've said, beautiful day in Sydney today, actually, at least in Western Sydney. So, as I mentioned, hopefully we can hope for maybe a soft 7 as we get into it.
Bit of sun, bit of breeze.
Yeah, the rail is in the true. Given that was fresh last week and we saw around, I'm thinking possibly lane 8's in play there, given it got a lot of traffic last week. About 7 or 8 off the fence there, swooping. But we'll see how it plays. It is all going to be fresh ground, and we'll keep an eye on it.
Yep.
Kick off with the listed Reginald Allen over 1,400 metres for the Phillies Beaver. Essentially a benchmark 70. But what have you found here?
Yeah, open field, 550 plus the field in an open affair. I stuck with Orzala. Just got the services McDonald. Was trialled well, was well fancied in a maiden at Canterbury, and was beaten by Cote, and probably just on the heavy didn't quite suit. So hopefully it was very heavy that day. On the heavy at Newcastle, it did improve, and I thought it really hit the line quite strongly there. So learned a lot from its first up experience. I expect it's learnt a lot more. And I think Gate 9, McDonald aboard, can run really well. Main danger, Lonrioli. I thought it was good last start at a Goulburn maiden. Put pay to him pretty easily. I think it can run well as well at price, but Orzala on top, number 9.
I agree with you about Lonrioli. I actually like how Wild Botanic is going here. It's been good in every run back. It was brave behind Sneaky Page first up. Went to Canberra and won well, and then was very brave just being nabbed late by Arbitration, who had the camp on it. His double figures here will finally draws an inside gate, and hopefully that's not too bad at this time of the day. Just our first shot at Lonrioli, I think, can run well here around the $10 or $11. And out to 1,400 metres should suit Lonrioli, who will get a pretty comfy lead and will be hard to run down, again, around the double figure mark. They were 2 I was keen to look at. Right outside the market, something like Call Die might improve. It was a bit luckless first up. The Big Dance wildcard is up next over the mile, where we've just got all the Chris Waller leftovers dumped into some bush meeting horses here. To me, I ended up with 2 hopes, and I think the main bet for me will be Wicklow. I've forgiven it again. Has just been unlucky. Its last couple was too far back last time. Drawn out, so hopefully what you do take into account is Willie Pike going on to probably going to be back and last and trying to reel them all in. But potentially can do that here. And I thought the other obvious one was Kerwin's Lane. That was a pretty good resumption there in what I'm thinking might be an all right race behind Ellsberg, who obviously we saw come out and run well. And again, it's it's 440, so it's in the market. I like the claim for Dylan Gibbons, and I think it just fits this race really well. They're the two I went looking for and don't have a lot else to talk about.
Yeah, I've gone for Kerwin's Lane. As you stated, I think the Gate 5 and the claim for Gibbons works well. I think it gets the right run here. It can posse up nice and comfortably in the midfield, get the tag into the race and produce at the right time. You're right. I thought in the Group 2 company last start, it was a nice first up performance. Fought to the line quite well, and when last in work, ran some really nice races in some listed type events and some weight for age races. Quiet in the trials. Lines up well here. I'm quite keen on Kerwin's Lane. I think it can run well. Bit unsure about Wicklow. Kind of half given up, and I think Gate 14 means it does have to go back to the tail and does have to sweep around them all. So not without a chance, but Kerwin's Lane for me.
The third is the weight for age Craven Plate over 1,800 metres. 2 chances predominantly. Which way have you gone?
Yeah, 2 chances, but only one for me, Cascadian. McDonald Cummings, beautiful run, beat him easy last start. This is not a strong affair. It'll just sit off the back of Surf Dancer, and it'll be too good at the end of the day.
Yeah, this does have Nash written all over it, getting a quiet lead and being able to just take off when he wants on Surf Dancer, which is a scary thing, but Cascadian was super impressive. I don't think it's going to be as far back as it has been. I think J-Mac will have it right up on the hammer, knowing where it needs to be, and it's going to be very hard to beat. As I said, 2 chances. If you're playing the early quarter, they're the only 2 that go in. But I think Cascadian might start a little bit better. You might get $1.80, maybe even evens, depending on the first couple play, but it on top from Surf Dancer. The St. Ledger is up next, 2,600 metre staying race. I got to this and just wanted to lay down and cry, like I usually do when we look at these horses every week, forever and ever. I don't know, talk about it because I don't want to. Yeah,
it made me feel a little bit ill in the stomach as well. Look, for the sake of when I analysed the form and had a look and having a selection, I went for Stockman. I think now 5th up, it gets to the right distance and has shown enough in the last couple of runs. It did finish 4th, less than a length in the Metrop last start. I thought that was a good pointer for this. Finished off quite nicely. Similarly weighted in this, and then prior to that, I thought it was okay as well in the Group 3 behind Allegron. Finished off okay, so I think it's been warming up to this, and I think given it ran so well in the Metrop, they've backed it up, and this would be a race they'd expect to run really well.
Yeah, look, it's been warming up forever, so it probably has to run well because I'm going to give No Compromise a chance later on. I did have Cadre du Noir on top, but it's, what is it, $2.20, so whoop-de-doo. Let's just move on.
Too skinny for me. And
yeah, I think it's just starting to drift. I think, again, you'll get better tomorrow. They actually probably start closer together. Something we can get our teeth into, the Kosciuskzo, 1,200 metres, $2 million race for the bush horses. And this had me quite excited, actually, by the time I finished here, until I just saw that It's Me has, in fact, been scratched, so I don't know what I'm going to talk about anymore. It was on top. I thought it was stood out like a beacon there, but I'm left with Arcado on top. Won this fresh last year, gets D-Lane, is a little Randwick specialist, and will run well here against all of these. And the other ones I went looking for were the 2 Cody Morgan runners down the bottom. They've both, just because they've got upside and both been impressive, and they're both 20-1. Tal Braga with Bowman going on, and La Melody, who are both 20-1 there. Pardon me. Spring goodness is so that's what I'm left with. I was so keen on It's Me that I'm a bit sad now. Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about Front Page.
Okay.
Resuming here, goes like a bomb first up. Had 5 starts for 3 wins and a second. Last time out, resumed at Wagga, beat Nemeth, which is in this race as well, by 4.5 lengths. At Wagga, look, it goes well first up. I think this sets up really nicely for it. It's in Gate 4. After it won that, it went down and raced in listed company and started favourite at Flemington. And then in an open class race behind Triple Missile, was also well in the market and wasn't far off them. Can jump and run. I think this is a good race for it.
How dry does it want it? Probably doesn't want to be in the heavy range.
Yeah, well, it's had 5 starts on the soft and 1-3, so the soft track won't hurt. Actual soft form is the best form it's got and good. Never started on the heavy, so I'm assuming it can handle it. I think, clearly on top for me. You're right, Art Cadeau, not without a chance. And I also thought Tal Braga was a knockout chance. You're right, around the 20s mark. Can run well, but front page on top.
The consolation for the Everest is the Sydney Stakes, a weight for age Group 3 sprint here. And haven't we got a field lined up here? What do you like?
Wow, big field.
Yeah.
Lots of runners here. And a very, very, very open race. Plenty of chances. I've gone for Apache Chase on top. Thought its first up run was pretty good in the Group 2, behind Lost and Running. Stuck to its task quite well in the heavy going. I think it'll be better improved as the track gets better. If its better form has been on good tracks, not the heavy, so can jump to probably near the lead here and get the right track in the race with gate 5. So I think it can run really well. Second up. Main dangers, I think Remark is going great at the moment. It's third up. First 2 wins have been outstanding. So I think it can run well. And, there's plenty of horses down in the market. I also think something like Blondeau, who goes well first up fresh, could be a knockout chance at 30s, just flying home as well.
Yeah, the spell up in Queensland generally is a recipe for success coming back for Blondeau. I had a lot of looks at Blondeau myself and agree. I've got Waihaha Falls on top. I think there's a lot of pace up here. There's plenty of leaders, plenty of pace up there. It had the 2 big kills, track and distance, throughout winter. Put away, has come back for this outside gate. When the leaders start falling over, I think it's going to be storming home, and it's the best part of $10. I think this is a great bet here. I think it's a very talented horse. From you mentioned Blondeau, who I went looking for. And in the Congo, I'm not sure where it ends up, but you just forget about that Mooney Valley run. Just sat 100%. 3 wide and was never, ever given a chance in that race, and now can come here. I think J-Mac doesn't look to contest the lead. I think he's trying to get a bit of a camp and will definitely improve here. Got to pay respect to the lead up as well. Obviously, Apache Chase, Kementari in the conversation, but at the prices, they were the ones I was sort of keen on. I think Waihaha has almost been forgotten here.
Yeah, I'm bit concerned about the gate and first up, and this is a big step up in class. It's come from benchmark, essentially midweek races against the likes of Fast Coney to this. Look, can't say it won't win, but I think it's racing a lot better company horses than what it did last prep. They were basically midweek races.
Agree. But it's I think just to set up here, I think they've got a bit of a sniff from not pushing on earlier through winter. They could have probably made a killing early spring, so they've saved it for this. Not sure where it heads though, but interested to find out at the price.
Yeah, I just thought it was a little bit unders at $7.50 when you got SWATSAT's $13, and I think
don't ever tip SWATSAT.
No, I won't.
Please.
But I'm just saying it's won better races than.
Yeah. Speaking of better races, $15 million. The Everest, weight for age, 1,200 metres. What have we got here, Beaver?
A lot of good horses.
They are good horses.
But we already knew that.
So they tell me.
Yes. Yeah, there's plenty of good horses here. Obviously, a few will come out in this race, I'm assuming.
The bottom 4. So Forbidden Love onwards, emergencies.
Yeah, so they'll probably start in the race prior. What can I say? Nature Strip for me. There was just too much to like about its first up run. To not be excited by what it can do here. Went to England, won. Bit concerned how it might come back first up and how it would perform, but it was outstanding. Gate 12, I think, is probably a good draw.
Perfect.
In this field, it's going to come across. It's going to sit wherever it wants, outside the lead, just behind the lead, and we know Eduardo is going to go quick. Probably lead these up. Shade of Rose probably gives it the cart across. And it just sits in behind there. And when J-Mac presses the button, it's it should be all over. I just can't see anything beating it. Nature Strip on top for me. Some for your trifectas, definitely Private Eye. I think that was a nice first up tilt, and I think it can run well again. Masked Crusader looks to be slightly back, so that was sort of two that I definitely have in my trifectas with whatever else you like.
Nature Strip's a moral. I'm keen. It's I love the gate. You've summed that up well. And I can see Nash doing everything possible to get Eduardo to run second, so he will control the pace as well as he can to make sure he gets into that millions and millions of dollars of prize money, which sets up perfectly because if he goes quick, Nature Strip is going to eat it up, and if he goes slow, J-Max got the gate, he can just go straight past him and take it up if he wants to. So all over it. I think $2 is a good bet, and the only other horse I'm throwing in the quaddie when I get to it will be Jacquinot, just because I don't know how good it can be. We've seen the form stack up. I know we can argue about how good the 3-year-olds are, but we've seen that form through that stack up right the way through, and was explosive, and may well be I'd rather an outside gate actually is a concern, but may well be the mystery horse here. I think everything else is well and truly covered. Excited. The Silver Eagle held over from last week for $1 million race again for the 4-year-olds this time. We did the form on this last week. It hasn't changed a lot apart from the cheeky nomination for Jimmy the Bear down the bottom there coming up if he gets a run. But I am sticking with my original thoughts. Valana on top, a wet tracker, nice gate. Nash goes on, has claimed the scalp of a lot of these through his last couple of preps, did some good stuff. Trials are fantastic, and I think he's ready to rock and roll for a flying stable here. Kiss Some, this would have been the goal all the way along, has trialled well and ready to go. And we spoke about Waterford last week, but he now gets Bowman. I think Tommy was on last week. Outside gate and has done nothing wrong. Has jumped every bar. The concern is their gut, a bit like the one we talked about earlier, is their guts to the form coming through the midweek stuff. But has been doing that in second gear, I think, and will stack up here. Yeah, that's about it for me. There's obviously a few other chances and bits and pieces, but they're the three predominant ones for me, Beaver.
Yeah, the only thing that's changed here is obviously the barrier draw, which probably changes a little bit of the complexion for me. I had Waterford on top previously, but gate 18, I looked at this and wondered where is it going to sit and where's it going to get to.
We will know track pattern by now as well.
We'll know track pattern now, so I've just flipped them. I've gone for Espiona. Third up as well here, getting, with J-Mac aboard. The gate 14 still drawn a little bit off the track. May get to come in a couple if there's a couple of scratchings in the Congo, probably comes out of this. So I've got it on top, Espiona, still Waterford can run well. And I thought a horse like Lock Eagle could be a bit of a knockout horse as well. So that was how I ended up here.
Yeah, J-Mac might pick up $2 million himself tomorrow.
Yeah.
Even with losing, it's me. But anyway, 1,500 metres, the 5 Diamonds Prelude is another $1 million race for 20 horses. I don't know what to say about some of these. Who do you like?
There's only 2 chances.
Are you saying 1 and 2?
Yep, 1 and 2, absolute standouts. I've gone for the 2, Ayrton. Got a big opinion of this horse. Really like the horse. Been good to me over the time.
Is the wet a concern?
The wet is a concern, but I think the drying conditions actually help.
Yeah.
So the closer it gets to good, the better it'll be for it. I don't think they'll start it if they didn't think it couldn't win on the track. So I think gate 7's a perfect draw for it. It can get to wherever it wants in the run. Obviously, Ellsberg will sit on pace and look the winner at some stage. But it's got to give 2 kilos to Ayrton, and I think Ayrton's as good a horse, if not better. So I'm happy to take the 450.
Yeah, cool. I've had to default to Ellsberg on top. Actually, before the Epsom, didn't know how well it was going, but does fit this race really well. Obviously, won the Epsom two weeks ago, so that stands up here in what's got a long tail on it. Sabak was a nice resumption. It, I think, has upside and can run well at a price. And I'll throw some extras in the quaddie when I get to that, the likes of perhaps Alcyone. But I do agree on Ayrton. Heavy had me concerned. Maybe it's now back in the game more than I'd thought. One I'm forgiving, Elias. Didn't do much last time, but was a nice first up run. tick over trial since could jump out of the ground here. Good luck to Carol and all the connections with Arctic Thunder as well. They're in for a big day tomorrow. They're looking forward to it, so good luck there. We finished the day with the Angst Stakes, again held over from last week over the mile, where, again, the barrier draw's done me a couple of favours here, but I'm sticking with my original thoughts. Meg is flying. Inside gate now has me concerned by this time of the day, but I'm half hoping they're all off the fence down the middle and can actually come up and under them and get a nice run there. I love Damien Lane going onto it. I love the fact it loves the wet and it's going to run well here. It's run well every start and was 20s last night. What is it now? $16 with your horse coming out to run in Melbourne. And obviously Fine Point resumed with a nice win, and that form will get a grip on throughout the day. We'll run well again here, but they tend to keep that for the drier stuff, so keep an eye on that. I'll mention the others when I do the quaddie. Not quite sure how Polly Gray's come back, so just going away from it. What have you made of this?
Yeah, I've gone away from it as well. I've gone for Fine Point. I think it will have derived plenty of benefit from that first up win, and I thought the win was good enough under those conditions. So I was pretty pleased with that. Gets in here, nicely weighted. Waller again, we talked about him. He's just keep popping up here. So I had hit on top, and the main danger I had is Honey Creeper. I think if they are finishing on and coming down the middle of the track, this horse has the biggest finish, and as they go up in distance, can run well. So I think it probably setting this up for something probably next start, but could run well in this.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the Everest quaddie to look at. I'm going to handle the Sydney quaddie, and first leg I'm going to go 1 Nature Strip and 11 Jacquinot. Second leg, 1 Mr. Mozart, 2 Star Tontes, 3 Valana, 4 Kissum, 7 Brigantine, 10 Waterford, 13 Lavish Girl, 14 Espiona, and if it gets a run, we'll throw Jimmy in just for nostalgia's sake. Third leg, 1 Ellsberg, 2 Ayrton, 6 Elias, 9 Diamil, 11 Alcyone, 13 Sibak, and come home with 1 Polly Gray, 2 Hope in Your Heart, 3 Honey Creeper, 5 Meg, 6 Grace and Harmony, 8 Fine Point, and that'll do us. $100 gets you about 15%. If we get 2 splits there, that should pay well and truly cover your stake anyway.
Yep.
Do you have a best and value for Randwick?
I do, mate. My best bet comes up in race 9, number 2, Ayrton. Nice little price. And my value comes up in race 8, number 14, Espiona.
My best is Nature Strip. I think it'll win. So I'm putting it on top.
So do I, but
race
I just didn't want to go the obvious.
No, come on. Race 7, number 1, Nature Strip. And my value, race 10, number 5, Meg. We head down to Caulfield for the Caulfield Cup, where it's wet. It's been pouring down there. Apparently, though, the Caulfields dodged a lot of our thoughts with everyone doing it tough down there. It's been some pretty scary scenes around summer Victoria, so I hope you guys are staying safe. We know what it's been like over the last 6 or 12 months up in Sydney, but they're actually optimistic we might even get to a 9. I was reading this morning, so we'll see how that plays. The rail is in the 6 metre mark, I believe, which last time it was set up like this was the day ingratiating came down a middle and 1, so swoopers were looking for throughout the day with soft into heavy track. And so keep an eye on that. That's how I've sort of treated the form. But we kick off with a 1400 metre 3-year-old fillies race, Beaver, and I was keen to start the day with a horse that's been good to us. Kang Try resumes here as first trial was lovely. Second trial, I don't know what happened there. Just sort of went around 4 lengths behind the field, but its form's better than this. Even the 2 it got beat were just really brave runs, posted wide. The last one before going out was, Bill Egan's not riding it today, which says something about the ride, but I think it's going to be very hard to beat here, and I think it's a nice way to start the day. We'll wait and see what upside Climbing Star has, but that's how I'm starting off. Yourself?
Yeah, I've gone for Climbing Star. I think it does have upside, and I was super impressed by its first up run. I think the gate 5 is perfect. I think it can sit midfield, probably in that sort of 4-5 position. in the running line, and I think the extra step up in 200 metres is right up its alley. I think this horse has packed with potential. You mentioned the trial of the top weight. Not quite sure about that, so I just went for the up-and-comer.
Speaking of up-and-comers, benchmark 80, 1,700 metres is next. You've been waiting for this horse for a couple of weeks.
Yep, been waiting for this horse for a couple of weeks. Number 11, Cap to Joey. Got it on top here. Loved its run last start. Won the first two up this preparation. This is a very winnable race and should be winning. Great 13s, I think, is okay because it's going to get back and it's going to explode down the middle. Yeah,
on top for me as well. I think the overs, if you're looking for one, Seniors Express can improve. No luck last time. And a wider gate, not quite sure about the heavy, but the wider gate will help it out. Had no luck to date, but yeah, one of the better bets on the card is the favourite here. The Ned's Classic for the 3-year-old boys is up next, 2,000 metres, where, I assume he's a Derby favourite. Mr. Maestro has done nothing wrong so far and has been super impressive both runs out to this trip and meets a much weaker field, I think. There's not much else here. This is a pretty much midweek race coming here and, it's $1.70, so it'll win. Not much more to add.
Yeah, right.
Who are you looking at then?
I've got number 6, Distrustful Award.
Okay.
I think it's great value here at $14. I think after the weekend you might see this horse be some money come for it for the Derby. I think it's going to be super hard to beat. It started very short at Mildura last start in a maiden, but wow, it was super impressive. It was hard held, head on its chest, stepping up to the 2,000. This horse has some ability. Pruska can train a horse that gets out to these distances. I think very keen that it will run well at the $14 mark. So Distrustful Award on top for me from the favourite.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think Savabill's had a stakes winner out beyond 2,000 metres, so that is interesting. Someone will tell me I'm wrong there, but I know when we're looking at Forgot You last year into the Derby, that stat popped up, so we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
But anyway, the Ethereal's up next, the Fillies version, Group 3, over the same distance. What have you done?
Yeah, I got down to 2 here, the 2 in the market, Foxy Cleopatra and Mocha, who's been scratched and brought to this. I've gone for Foxy Cleopatra, the favourite. I really liked its win at Moonee Valley last start. Just sat off the pace and put pay to him very quickly there. That was a really nice run. That was only its second race start, and I think it'll continue to improve. Gate 14, there might be a scratching or two. So again, I don't think the gate's going to be too much of a problem. Hopefully, as long as it gets a little bit of cover here, and looks hardest to beat for me.
Yeah, same. Moko, that was a complete barrier trial last time. Was actually quite strong through the line when she actually got out. Just had no luck there. And will improve, but the market reflects that. And I'm a bit annoyed all 3 of these are here because Pavitra, I had some interest in going into the Zugotcha race, actually led them up outside lead and beat home Madame Pomeroy, who won on Wednesday. And comes here, she'll get a softer lead. Jamie Carr going on is also in the conversation. But they're the 3 that the market suggested, the 3 main ones. Foxy, Moko to Pavitra, so 7 at 1 and 3 for me. The Gothic Stakes is up next, 1,400 metres, again for the 3-year-olds. The boys listed race here, where I am going to make a case here for Custodian. Good win first up, then had to sit outside lead on that complete rails day at Moonee Valley, and actually held on quite well, was coming back through the line at the death there, and is $14. It can roll forward here, and I'm hoping to get a cosy run, maybe 1-1 under Mark Zara, and I think he's going to give you a really nice side here. Because the 3 that beat at home were all on the rails that day. That said, Eponymous might come out and win by 3 because it was luckless there, but did have the rail. And if I'm looking at the same race, Sandpaper was brave as well off the fence. But I like the price around number 11, Custodian.
Yeah, I got Eponymous on top. I think I tipped it as a value bet last start. And
yeah, I think we all did.
I think it was a huge run. It gets the extra 200 here. Gate 7 is perfect. And I think it's got some natural improvement in it. So I've got it on top. And you're right, I had my 2 outsiders at double-figure odds with Sandpaper and Custodian. I thought they could run well as with some natural improvement and drawn nicely as well with a nice finish and probably like the step up to 1400. So eponymous on top for me.
Cool. The Alinghi Stakes are listed for the mares over 1,100 metres. What do you like here?
Well, interesting race. Couple of an open field. Naj Matty I've got on top because I just loved its last prep. It was just outstanding. It won first up, I think, down in Melbourne, and was just a great run. Gate 10, I think it's drawn perfectly. I think it gets set up here. There'll be enough pace on this race to drag it into the race, and I think it can run super well and be super hard to beat. I thought there was a couple of I have to chuck the 9 in. Masara's horse, Shellstar. You backed it last start. Don't raise your eyebrows. I think it can run well, given they've taken it to Melbourne. And I also thought Lem Picker, around the $15 mark, was pretty good first up, and I think it can run well as well.
I just assumed I was gonna just find Naj Marty and move on with this race, but I didn't like the trials. Actually, I didn't know how well it trialled, and I don't know how it's going to go in the wet. So I had 2 question marks. I thought Joan Diva did trial well, but I can't believe I'm going to say it, but I actually I'm going to tip Shellstar on top. I started this race wanting to just pen it. It was the first horse I went to pen. But I like the fact it's going to roll 40. I like the fact Blake Shin's on it, who's flying and has plenty on some of these jockeys down there. And I like the fact it's $10 and it's going to have a great run here. I think it's going to be very hard to beat. And I can't believe I'm doing it, so it must say something.
Yep, you did it last. You've only ever done it once and it won. And
exactly,
this is
so
the
maybe
time.
that's a sign, everyone.
Maybe that is a sign.
It is coming out of highway form. It's coming out of everything I don't want to have anything to do with, but I've got it on top. Because I had question marks around the 2 I wanted to find. Joan Diva's second pick did trial pretty well and sets up perfectly here. And I didn't know what to do if a very fine red. That was next best. But yeah, it's on top and I feel dirty for it. So let's move on. Race 7 is the...
You're a dirty man.
I've been told that. Group 2, the sprint here over the 1,000. Bo Rosser and Malkovich has come out, which changes this race somewhat with the pace coming out there, actually. But my original thoughts were I did not like the draw of Dragonstone back to the inside, which had me concerned because that would have been on top, all things being equal. But I've got a feeling by this time you want to be coming down the outside. So I've actually ended up going back to Asfura. Tragedy last time. Joe McNeil goes on. Beautiful blending gate here. And I think has plenty of upside and gets through the ground okay. Well, should be unbeaten on the soft. Obviously scared a generation who crossed the line right in the heels of Coolangatta in a Group 1. And now with the pace coming out, probably gets a really nice run here, sitting right off Sartorial Splendour, which has me more concerned than when I did the race first time around. But I'm going to play away from Dragonstone, depending how the track's playing. If the track's playing any differently, I'll revisit that. So that's why I've seen it. How have you seen it?
I've seen the same as you. Asfora for me. Was brilliant first up and then just was a terrible ride second up. It got cluttered up. It reefed at Ted. It just didn't get a run. It just wasn't good at all. I think here, gate 5, I think the pace here will either way it'll suit. It just gets into the running line and I think it can run super well. I'm pretty keen on it at around the $485 mark. Got it on top and I think you're right. The 2 main dangers are Generation Dragonstone.
Excellent. The mares are up next. Group 2 Tristark Stakes over the 1,400 metres. Who have you found?
Yeah, good race. A lot of good chances here. Big field again. Look, I've stuck with Chain of Lightning. I'm going to forgive it its run last start. It was a weird type of run at Caulfield. It was a sweeper's track and it sort of sat outside the leader and it just didn't look comfortable. I'm not sure what to make of it. Don't know if it was. I don't think it was the track condition, although it was a heavy track.
I don't think it's coincidence. Luke Nolan's going on for the prior jockey.
It was just
say that.
Yes, that's right. I just wasn't sure of the run. I think it will run freshened up here. It'll run well, and I've got it on top. I think Argentia can run well. I thought it was really good first up. Impressed with that run. Sat closer to the speed and was only beaten late by the other chance in the race, which was Excelida, which. Is a horse that you tipped as a knockout chance in that race. So they were sort of the 3 I went for.
I'm actually sticking with Exolator because I like the win. I thought it almost had all honours there. Has to now go back and do it on a heavy track. But it sets up again for a nice run here. Should be hard to beat. I think Chain of Lightning improves. Yeah, just sat outside lead like a shag on a rock and obviously retired it appropriately. Luke Nolan goes on, I like. Will improve. I think will be ridden a bit quieter as well. And the wet track will suit. Gate 1 broke my heart here for Palacipan because I would have found it otherwise. I probably would have had it on top, so keep it in your, depending how the track's playing, keep that in mind. And obviously Argentia will run well. But I think, yeah, around those, I'm keen to back both Exolita and Chain of Lightning. I think we can come out with a result there. You've already said your tips, haven't you?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Caulfield Cup. Group 1, 2,400 metres, staying race. It's definitely a staying race. I don't know where to start with this one. Beaver, what have you made of this?
Well, it's hard to know where to start in this race, isn't it?
I know where I started. I've already backed Macram at 60s. It was the only thing I've already done.
Yeah,
but we'll wait and see how that comes out.
It's one of your horses, isn't it?
Couldn't believe the price. Should have won last week.
Should have won last week. Anyway, let's get on to the Caulfield Cup. Look, I think it's a hugely difficult race. Some of these horses are drawn quite wide, but so a lot of luck in running and where they'll get to sit, or the horses in the market that are drawn wide. Look, I narrowed it down. I went for conformist on top, non-conformist. Sorry, not conformist, non-conformist. 4 runs this preparation have been in really good company races. They've all been in Group 1s, and I think they've sort of just been preparing it for this, stepping it up each time in distance, 200 each time. Races that it probably was never going to win. And I thought the last run was only a couple of lengths behind Enemo, so it wasn't that bad a run, and I just sort of kept plodding along and wasn't too bad in that race. I think it's been perfectly set for this, and I think he can jump out the ground and run super well. So I had non-conformist on top, but there was plenty of other good chances. I think Beno, it can run really, really well. I just left the favourite out just on the price. I think it can run well and can win, but I was happy to take it on. Although its last 2 runs have been really good, just was going for a little bit more value. I thought the other chances were, I thought Montefilia. I certainly have it in my quaddy numbers. I think it can run well and no compromise as well, but non-conformist on top.
Yeah, and maybe I'm missing the obvious with Smoke and Romans has been impressive and beat most of these last time. I went looking for the Waller horses, so no compromise. Won the Metrop last time, comes in here 53, swims through the ground, a nice gate to chime in at the right time here in his 20s, and he's going to run well. Great House, same, will run well, maybe slightly. Well, it was actually, you don't have to worry about last run, it was buried back to the inside, and I'm not even too worried about it. And Durston, started favourite in the Metrop and is going to run well here, down on 51. Mentioned if Macram does get a run, price was silly. And I don't know what to do with Montefilia and Gold Trip, so they'll probably go my quaddy. Beno's a horse I haven't really had an opinion of, and given it's tied to Allegron, I would much rather back Allegron than Beno out of that, but maybe I just leave them both out. So what have I said there? I'm backing Chris Waller. Seems to work sometimes. But plenty going to quaddy, as I'm sure you'll cover off. What did you do with Dewis? Are you just done with it?
I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah, I think same. If it wins, it wins.
Yeah, horses like that have those great last preparation and then had 3 runs this prep and really hasn't shown too much for me.
Yeah, done with it.
Yeah, I don't know if they just fluke a prep or something. I don't know.
Yeah, particularly the mares. I think the mares, when they're on or they're off.
Yeah,
that's it. The Munga, Group 3, 1,400 metres wraps us up for the 4-year-olds. And I'm keen here. I thought Bandersnatch was a fantastic resumption. It finished, beat home Ayrton last time on the heels of I Wish I Win, and is drawn in the right part of the track, I'm hoping, for this time of the day to just come sweeping down the outside again. And it is, $7? $6.50? $6. There we go. Lovely. Keen on it from Catalyst, who did the same up along the inside there, and maybe not the place to be on the day. But has come back pretty well from its long layoff. I think they're the two, and pretty keen. They're the ones in the race I want to be with, actually. Yeah.
Same for me, Bandersnatch. I really liked its first up run as well. I think it can run well again here. Clearly on top for me, and I think length behind I Wish I Wins sets up nicely for this. So got it on top as well. I think it's a good price. The main danger I had is the number 11, Aegon.
Yeah, okay.
I think its first up run in Te Rapa was pretty decent. Got well back and flew home over the 1,200 metres. I think the extra 200 metres here suits gate 10. I think it can run really well, so I wouldn't be leaving it out.
Beauty. Have you got a Caulfield Cup day quaddie for the punters?
Yeah, tough day, tough quaddie, but if we can get it, I think we'll get some decent pocket money. First leg, I've gone, which is race 7, number 2, Generation, number 9, Dragonstone, number 11, Asphora.
Mm-hmm.
3 main ones in the market there. In the next leg, I've gone number 3, Excelida, number 8, Argentia, number 9, Chain of Lightning, and number 13, Pride of Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
In the Cup, I've gone, in no particular order, number 10, Bano, number 6, Nonconformist, number 9, Allegron, number 4, Montefilia, number 8, No Compromise, number 19, Durston.
Excellent.
And to finish the day, I have gone number 5, Bandersnatch, number 11, Aegon, number 13, Catalyst, and number 16, Lady of Honour.
Lovely.
Knock yourself out.
Excellent. Have you got a best and value for progrobracing.com.au?
My best bet will be no surprise. Comes up in race 2, nice and early, number 11, Cape de Joey. We'll be getting some bank for later in the day there. And then my my value bet is in the last race, 10, number 5, Bandersnatch, just to top it off.
Cool. Race 3, number 1, Mr. Maestro is my best, but that's given it's half a cop out. Let's throw Bandersnatch in as I think it's actually nearly my best on the card there. And race 5, number 11, Custodian will run well at the double figure price. Anything in Queensland?
Yeah, I've got a few in Queensland for us. Going to kick off the day with race 1, number 7, She's a Rogue. I think it can get us some early cabbage up there. Then I didn't come till later in the day. Race 5, number 4, Yellow Brick. Can run very well. Race 6, number 11, Resuming Stellar Magic. And then to finish off later in the day, I've gone race 10, number 11, Sweet Margot May.
Lovely. That is our look at the Everest and Caulfield Cup cards. Have fun tomorrow, Beaver, out at Randwick.
Yes, I'll be out there.
So come and say hello to Beaver. He loves it when the fans come and... Yeah. He's a man of the people, Beaver. Or alternatively, come to the Grey Gums Hotel and buy me beers. Either one works for me. So have a good day.
I will do that.
Good luck tomorrow and good punting tomorrow, guys. Stay tuned to progrobracing.com.au. Leave us some comments below and subscribe to our mailing list there. And we'll be back on Wednesday morning for our midweek preview. Take care.